Well, this is our equipment room, and it is here that we will show you the installation of the 6P magazine. To be able to do an installation correctly, you will have to check the site installation documents for the engineering department planning information. It is these documents that dictate what configuration you are going to install, what frequencies are to be used, and all the other site-specific data. So let us begin by fitting the equipment rack. However, you must consider the tools that you are going to need. The correct tools will lead to the correct installation quality. It's as simple as that. But if you have everything that you need, then you can do some installing. We're going to fit the Access Module magazine here. The 6P magazine is suitable for medium-sized mini-link hub sites. If the magazine is fitted inside other equipment, for example inside an exchange or a radio base station, then there should be 30mm of free space behind the Access Module magazine. This is in order to allow sufficient airflow. If the space is less than 30mm, then a gap of at least 1 unit should be left above the magazine. We are now in a position to fit 4 cage nuts to the rack to support the magazine. These cage nuts are standard for supporting equipment in the 19-inch equipment rack system. They consist of a square nut captive in a spring metal bracket. The nuts are fitted vertically and are simply pressed into the square hole using a screwdriver. 4 of these nuts are needed to support a small to medium-sized magazine, 2 at either side. Larger or heavier magazines may require 8 of these nuts to support them. Now we fit the magazine in the rack and tighten the securing bolts. The machine screws are fitted through the holes in the equipment magazine and screwed into the cage nuts. In this way, the magazine is gripped firmly. In our installation, we are fitting an empty magazine, so it is relatively light and can be fitted by just one man. As soon as the 2 lower screws are fitted, even loosely, the screws will take the weight of the magazine, so you can release your grip. Fit all the machine screws loosely by hand, then go back and tighten them with a screwdriver. Otherwise you may have trouble aligning the last screws. The next stage is to connect and tighten the earth cable to the magazine. The earth cable comes as a kit. Remove the pre-made cable and fitting hardware from the bag. The cable lugs have already been factory fitted. Pass the cable lug over the earth bolt on the magazine chassis. Fit one plain washer over the bolt. Secure it with a nut. Tighten the nut firmly. And now I must connect the other end of the cable to the cabinet's earth bus. There are several different types of access module magazines, and they are documented in the relevant equipment manuals. Each magazine houses different combinations of plug-in units for different configurations, such as redundant power supply. But in our demonstration configuration, we're going to install one power filter unit, one fan unit, one node processor. That's the type 1B. We will also be installing one modem unit, one line termination unit type 155. But all the boards that we will be installing are sensitive to static electricity. An electrostatic discharge may damage equipment, so always use an approved anti-static bracelet to avoid damage to components fitted on circuit boards. Put the ESD wrist strap on your wrist and then connect it to the earth contact. To fit a plug-in unit, begin by removing the unit from the static dissipative packing. On the processor unit, make sure that the removable memory module here is properly inserted in the holder on the node processor unit. Insert the first plug-in unit, but press the unit in until it is properly seated in the back plane of the magazine. Make sure that the unit is inserted straight into the magazine and do not use excessive force. Then lock the unit using the two catchers, one at either side. And finally, tighten the two machine screws to secure the unit in position. All plug-in units can be fitted in any empty slot in any order. The only exception to this is the 1+1 configuration, which places specific requirements on the positioning of units. See the equipment manuals for more information about this. Continue the assembly by inserting the remaining units. Most units are supplied in a cardboard box and padded with foam. The individual circuit boards are further packed in a static dissipative plastic bag. At this stage, you should be wearing the anti-static bracelet and be at the same potential as the cabinet. So remove the board from the protective bag and fit it in the magazine. Align it correctly with the guide rails and push it all the way in. Repeat this for the other circuit boards and modules that have to be fitted. All unused slots in the magazine must be filled with dummy units in order to comply with electromagnetic compatibility and also to preserve the airflow within the cabinet. So now the magazine has been fully populated with all the units for this configuration. The next step is the internal cabling.